what's going on Facebook. So, I know it's been a few days since I've been on live, but been busy, doing a lot of running, trying to get stuff done. Okay. But I got something that I want to discuss and touch on today. Now, you're tuning in and you've looked at the title of this video. It's called Let It Go. Okay? So, when I talk about letting it go, we're talking about grudges, you guys. Letting go of grudges. It's common. There's a lot of circumstances, a lot of situations where people tend to hold grudges toward others for certain things and certain situations. Now, I'm going to tell you how I came up with this. I was talking to a good friend, just about life and the things that come with it. And I was told a story about, well, let me back up. I wasn't even exactly told a story. I was asked a question, and the question I was asked was, what was my opinion on that person's flaw, or what did I think that person's flaw was? I don't think flaw would have been the correct word, but we'll just baggage. There we go. That was the word. That was the word in the question. In my opinion, what did I think that person's biggest baggage was? And I had never been asked the question. I thought about it for a few minutes, and knowing who that person is and what they've been through and all that, my answer was grudges. The fact that person held grudges. And I was then asked a question on, okay, what would be the biggest grudge held? And I stated what that grudge was. Now let's go on to the situation, the grudge itself. This person has a grudge against a family member for some certain things, actions that were carried out, certain statements that had been made toward them that were, negative, and actions negative, of course, as well. And it was said that regardless of how much they've tried, you didn't miss too much. I'm just kind of going through telling the story. But I'm talking about grudges today. Or tonight. But, hi, my love. But it was stated that regardless of how much they tried, how much they've prayed and just tried to let go and let God, they just could not let go of that grudge. And it led us into a very, very deep conversation. So, we're talking about grudges. A lot of us, many of us, all of us have been through, you hold them? Well, I guess that means this message is meant to kind of help you. Well, not kind of, it's meant to help you, period. So, many of us, all of us go through situations with people, and they do horrible things to us, they say horrible things to us, and some of us kind of hold that against those particular people for really the rest of their life and the rest of ours. And, you know, it's never a good thing to hold a grudge. You know, I've had some people very close to me who have, you know, or who were very close to me who have done and said some horrible things. Do I hold grudges against them for what they've done? No. And here's why I'm here to let you know the importance of letting grudges go. First and foremost, when you hold a grudge, you cut yourself short of your blessings, okay? That's first and foremost. You don't want to live your life claiming that you're completely happy or claiming that you're satisfied with something or whatever the case may be. You can't live your life, you know, not talking to someone that you're holding a grudge against. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that you have to continue talking to that person or you have to begin again talking to that person. I'm simply just saying you have to forgive that person. You have to learn how to forgive those who have hurt you, and you cannot hold grudges. Because when you hold grudges, you cut yourself short of your blessings. Because at the end of the day, whoever the heck it is that you're holding a grudge against, when their judgment day comes and they have to stand before the Lord, they have to stand before God and go over every single life situation they encountered and things they endured here on earth in the flesh. When they stand before God on their judgment day, the things that they did to you that was wrong in every way, shape, and form, they will be addressed on that day when they meet God. Okay? And you know, those actions or whatever, you know, play factors on whether they make it into the gates of heaven or whether they're cast into the pits of hell. In the same token, you too, on your judgment day, will stand before God. And if you have held a grudge, you know, to my dying day, you know, if you yourself have held a grudge against someone who has done you wrong, you too will still have to answer for it. Why did you hold this grudge at this person for so long? You know, what's your excuse? What excuse are you really going to tell God on that day? You know, well, you know, they just hurt me so bad, I just felt that I couldn't forgive it. And, you know, God's going to look at you and say, well, I forgave you of this, that. God's going to go through the list on everything that He forgave you for, that you did on earth in the flesh, that you know was wrong, that God knows was wrong, but you did it anyway. You know, you holding that grudge and trying to justify it to the Lord on why you held it to your dying day, He's going to go down the list on everything that He forgave you for. If I could forgive you for all you did while you existed and lived on earth, you know, how come you couldn't forgive somebody that did something to you while you were actually on earth? You know? And that may be a factor on whether or not you enter the gates of heaven or you're cast down into the pits of hell. You know? While you're here in the flesh, you know, you cut yourself short on your blessings by holding grudges. You know? And like I said, that doesn't mean that you have to speak to that person. You can go to your dying day never speaking to that person again. And you know what? That is perfectly okay. That is perfectly fine. But you have to let go of the grudge. Another reason why you need to let go of your grudge is because it tears you apart internally. You may not think so. You may not feel so. But deep down in your subconscious, not your conscious mind, but your subconscious mind, it eats you up on the inside. And you can go all day, I don't care what type of mask you try to put on it, what type of makeup you try to mask it with, whatever. You cannot go through life trying to live life and be happy, and you're holding a grudge in your subconscious, and every time something triggers that thought in your subconscious, all of a sudden you're filled up and with all the emotions all over again. And you know, it's not enough to just think about the situation and feel the emotions. You let it take over your every single being, your every single waking thought. It's like, oh, now I'm irritated because now I just keep thinking about it. You know, I can't get it out of my mind. Okay? Let me just add with that point, that goes back to one of my first lives where I tried to teach you guys how to train your brain with the rubber bands on your wrist. When you have a negative thought, pop that rubber band on your wrist, because pain creates a memory. And if you create the memory of a negative thought with pain, and you know that you don't like that pain, then you'll eventually be able to cease your negative thoughts. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Of course, God knows your heart, but still, it's the godly thing to do. I mean, if God can forgive you for all the wrong and all the sins that you've committed on earth, why can't you forgive someone who did something against you? For the sake of continuing to be blessed while you're here on earth. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, you don't want to let that harbor your every thoughts. You know, because holding that in your subconscious, it eats you up. And whether they know it or not, or whether you know it or not, when you hold on to these grudges and you have something that triggers that thought or whatever, and you go over it all over again, and you let the emotions just take over your everything, you're giving that person power, whether they know it or not, whether you know it or not. You're giving that person power over you. You should never, ever give anybody power over your being like that. Ever. I don't care who they are. I don't care what they've done. I don't care what the circumstances, what the situation was. You should never give anybody that type of power over your mind, over your emotions, over your heart, over your spirit. Never. Okay? You don't want to do that. Because at the end of the day, you can never really say that you're completely happy with your life. Because again, another thing I said on one of my lives is being able to thank God for all the hell that you've gone through with certain people, because certain people you were meant to go through hell with to learn a lesson in some way, shape, or form, you know? So you have to be able to let that go and forgive. When you forgive that person, that doesn't mean that you have to call them up or text them or write them a letter or go make a pop-up visit and be like, you know what, I've been thinking a lot about the crap that you did to me, but I forgive you. You ain't got to do all that. They don't have to know whether or not you forgive them. Because again, if you never speak to them again in life, that's okay. Perfectly fine with that. But they themselves don't have to know that you, deep down in your heart, in all honesty, in all sincerity, forgave them. As long as you can have that communication with God, you know, as long as you and the Lord talk and you can sit there and be like, Lord, I've been harboring these feelings and this grudge at this person for what they did. I mean, everything in my life is good. I'm happy, and everything. But, every time something triggers that thought and I mentally and emotionally put myself back in that situation, I just get so consumed. And I'm tired of being consumed. And I want to forgive that person and just go on with my life, because I don't want to constantly be reminded of it every time something triggers a thought. I don't want to keep experiencing the feelings every time that thought is triggered, because I don't like how that feels. And remember, I said with the law of attraction, and being healthy, wealthy, abundant, and prosperous is not enough to think good thoughts. You have to feel good feelings too, because those feelings are what sends out, the vibrations into the universe, and the universe gives you that energy right back, whether that be good or bad. So when you're harboring these negative thoughts that are being triggered in your subconscious because of this, when you holding that grudge, and when you're feeling those emotions and you let that consume your every being, all you're doing is radiating out negative energy, because you're letting that person have so much power over you that it changes your whole inner being and the way that you feel in the present moment. And the way that you feel in the present moment is very, very critical to your future. Very critical. So you have to be able to forgive them. As long as you can be like, God, I am tired of being consumed with this energy. I just want to let it go. I want to give it up to you, God. And I want to continue to be happy. I want to continue to be blessed. And I don't want to feel like every time something triggers it, I have to be wrapped up in negative feelings. If you can have that communication with God and mean it sincerely, just like if you can have that communication with God and mean sincerely that you want to let go and let God just as much as you believe in God himself, if you can do that, everything in your inner being will be so much better. You can breathe better. You can exhale. You can be happy. You don't have to be consumed with the energy. You don't have to be consumed with the thoughts, because that energy is draining, y'all. Negative energy is draining. It doesn't energize you in any way, shape, or form. It sucks life out of you. You cut your blessings short. You cut your life short, y'all. Because when you go through negative emotions, research it. Educate yourself, y'all. Educate yourself. Like I said, Google and YouTube are great tools for educating yourself, as long as you're educating yourself and putting the right stuff inside of your mind. When you harbor negative feelings, negative emotions, that messes with your organs and messes with your body. Stress can kill. It messes with your heart. Emotions play a big factor in the way your body operates. It's like cancer. Many of us know someone who has cancer or have lost someone fighting cancer. Myself included. Did you guys know that every single person that walks the face of this earth has cancerous cells in their body, but they're inactive? You know why people actually get cancer? Is because you don't take care of your body. You harbor negative emotions, negative feelings that mess with your organs. And when your organs get all messed up because of all this negative energy that it's taken in, your immune system starts to get weak. And when your immune system starts to get weak, your body is no longer able to fight off, diseases and bacterias and all this. It's no longer able to create antibodies it needs to fight off illness. Hey, Miss Jones, baby. It's no longer, your body's no longer able to fight off illness because you've weakened it with all of the negative things that you've been harboring. You weaken your body, and when you weaken your body, that's when you start getting sick. Okay? Guys got to learn how to let these grudges go, because at the end of the day, you're not hurting anybody but yourself. You're holding a grudge against somebody who done moved the hell on, and you're hurting yourself. You're giving them power, and they don't even know it. You don't even know it, because you're just so consumed with this negative energy. Like, no, I just can't let that go. I can't forgive that. You got to learn how to forgive, because at the end of the day, you hurt yourself more than anything by holding on to all of that nasty energy, y'all. On Judgment Day, on their Judgment Day, they're gonna have to stand and explain to God why they did or said what they did or said to you when you were such a good person to them. They're gonna have to answer for that. And if you're holding a grudge on your Judgment Day, you're gonna have to answer. Why did you hold a grudge and not forgive that person? Why didn't you just let it go and just give it to me? You know, I know that you don't like that person. God is going to tell you, I know that you don't like that person because of what they did. And you know what? It's okay. You didn't have to talk to that person ever again, but still, forgive them. Why? Because I forgave you for everything that wrong that you did while you were on earth, before you came to stand before me in this present moment. I forgave you of everything, because I love you unconditionally, no matter what. The key to us living and being happy is, we have to have, God's love in us. God's love is in all of us, but not everybody wants to give God's love, because sometimes us as humans think that giving God's type of love is something that's a little bit far-fetched to do for everybody. And looking at it as a human, it may seem that way, because some people, as a human, probably really just don't deserve it from you or several other people. Who knows? Because you might not be the only person that they have treated that way, or they have done things to, or they have said horrible things to. There may be several others that feel the way you do. In a human physical realm, it would appear like, screw you, everything you're going through, where you came from, where you're at, where you're going. Screw you and what you feel. Screw you and what you think you stand for. Screw you and whoever the heck you think you are. All of that. But, but if we can all look past that and give God's love, even from a distance, whether they know it or not, and give God's forgiveness, whether they know it or not, then in the end, we get blessed for that. We get blessed for it. When you let go, when you let God, and you let go of those grudges, and you stop tearing your body down from the inside out with this negative energy, God is going to look down at you, and he's going to smile, and he's going to think to himself, that's what I want to see out of a child of mine. That right there is a child of God. Because only God will forgive somebody for something so wrong, so nasty, so diabolical. Only God can forgive something like that. And when he looks down upon earth and he sees you being just as forgiving as someone else, just as forgiving to someone here on earth in the flesh as he does for you in spirit, that's a blessing written in your book. That's life added on, to your time on earth. That's more life for you to live and actually be happy. That's more strength that you gain on the inside, because you sit there and you could look at yourself in the mirror. You could hold your head and your chin held high and chest up and say, you know what? You sent me through hell and high water, but I forgive you for it. Why? Because I'm a stronger person because of it. I put up a quote on my page today. It's on my Instagram, it's on my Facebook. And it said, I appreciate those who helped me and those who harmed me. Those may not be the exact words, but y'all get what I'm saying. I appreciate those who've helped me and those who've harmed me, because I'm a stronger, better person because of them. You're a stronger, better person, not just because of the people who actually meant good in your life and that did good for you, but you're a better and you're a stronger person because of the people that harmed you too. Because out of the harm, out of the heartache, out of the tears, out of the pain, you learned a lesson. And if you're a wise individual, you will take that lesson. If you're an intellectual and a wise individual, you will take that lesson and you will apply it to your life. And not only will you apply it to your life, but you're going to take that lesson, apply it, and be able to have that lesson as another tool to you to become closer to God, because at the end of the day, you say thank you for that lesson. I didn't like what I had to go through to learn it, but I still thank you for it, because now I know what to do or what not to do, in the coming future. I know what to look for, what signs to watch out for. You know things after that point that you didn't know before then, which makes your next following experience that much better. So these grudges, y'all, let them go. There's no reason to hold on to them. You ain't hurting nobody but yourself. You're weakening your body. You're breaking down your immune system. Your body's not fighting infections and stuff the way it's supposed to. There's people who've lived on this earth that have been as healthy as a horse, but then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, may have died or of a heart attack or something. And their friends and family sit back and think, I don't understand. They were so healthy. They ate good. They worked out. They were like the sweetest person ever. Never had to go to the doctor for any serious illnesses or any serious injuries. Why? Reason being, because they were harboring something that nobody else ever knew about but them and God. They were harboring some energies that didn't go right with their body. Didn't go right. They may have looked and appeared happy to you, but on the inside, in their subconscious, they were holding on to something that was doing a lot more harm to them than they thought it was. And there they were, the healthiest person you ever knew in your life, gone. Know why the good die young? The good die young because they harbor things that nobody else really knows about. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not good people, but they just made a bad decision in not letting go of that negative energy. My mission is to help you guys learn how to be happy. My mission is to help you all learn how to attract the things that make you happy. My mission is to spread this good knowledge and this positive energy for people to live happier, live healthier, live abundantly, live prosperously. You know? And everything starts as a thought. Everything starts as a thought. Excuse me. Everything starts as a thought. And it's created with your emotions. It starts as a thought, but it's your emotions that ultimately create it. You know, along with some action that you have to take as well. But, you know, your energy plays a really big part of it. Because they're vibrations. Everything around us is made up of energy and vibrations. So, you want to make sure you're radiating good energy, good vibrations. You want to make sure that you're not harboring any negative thoughts that's going to make you vibrate at a lower level. You know, you want to vibrate and radiate higher. You don't want to tear your body down. You want to strengthen your body up. And while it may look like you're strengthening your body up on the outside because you eat good, because you work out, you know, you may think you're strengthening your body on the inside because you go to church and you pray with God and, you know, pray and you talk to God. Harboring negative energies will still tear you down regardless of what you do. Because they take a toll on you and you only hurt yourself in the end. And in the end, if you hold on to that grudge to the day you die, like you say you do, you're going to have to answer for that. It's going to be addressed. But most importantly, y'all, I want everybody to be happy, healthy, wealthy, abundant, prosperous. I want everybody to vibrate high. I want everybody to be able to attract things that they want, that make them feel so good inside. Because I do that on a daily basis. You know, like I said, I know some people who have said and done some things to me, and on a human realm in the flesh, I probably should hold some grudges because they did some messed up stuff. But it's just not in me to do that because I have too much of God in me to do that. I have too much of God in me to hold a grudge. I can't do it because it don't sit right with my spirit at all. So I forgive. They don't know that they don't know that I've done it. But me and God know. And that's all that matters. And, you know, I feel good about that because even if a thought comes up, you know, even if something comes up and the thought is triggered, I could talk about it, but I'm not consumed by the emotions. I don't lower my vibrations to the standards of negative energy. You know, I can think about it if it's triggered. I can talk about it for the sake of sharing the information. You know, I can talk about it, you know, if it's relevant to a situation or a circumstance that somebody else is going through to kind of give some insight or whatever. But I'm not consumed by it, and it feels good to be able to talk about something that should consume you, but not be consumed. Like, it feels really, really good. And I want you all to be able to do that too. Because it's a joyous feeling knowing that you can talk about something so negative but still feel so good inside. Like, I talk about my trials and tribulations, and I smile because, you know what? God got me out of it. God brought me to it, but he also got me through it. And because he got me through it, I learned a lesson, and the lessons that I learned, I apply them to my life now, and they make me feel so, so good inside. And that good energy outweighs the bad every single time. Every time. So I want you all to be able to do the same. But grudges, y'all, let them go. Let it go. It's okay. You don't have to speak to that person ever again. You don't have to hang around that person ever again. None of that. They don't even have to know that you forgave them. They don't have to know anything, because that's between you and God. And as long as you and God have that understanding, you're good. Let it go, y'all. Stop hurting yourself. Just let it go. Let it go. Wash your hands of it. Give it to the Lord. And be free of the negative energy. And again, live life and be happy in it and not just exist. So, that's all I got for tonight, y'all. It's not as long as I'd normally go, but it was enough time to get the message out and get the point across. I encourage you, please share this live, y'all. Circulate it. Get the information circulated. That way it can get to somebody that needs to hear it. If you needed to hear it and it was helpful and it made you feel good, you're welcome. I appreciate you watching. I'm glad I was able to help. Because again, that's my mission. That's what I love to do. I live in my passion every day I'm on this camera with y'all. You know, all I ask is that if you feel and you know somebody that this information can help, share the live and get the video circulating so somebody else can be helped like you were. Help me to help you. Help me to help others. Help me to help myself. Let's help each other. With that being said, y'all, if nobody has told you that they love you today, I love you. Good night, y'all.